Okay.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order.
I hope this isn't too
This is
long.
what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Alright. This isn't too bad.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I take
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's
Alright,
office.
hold on. Options. Okay. Closed captioning. Alright, that'll do. Alright, anyway.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
To the right, to the left, to the right.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845.
These bookshelves.
But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Okay. The piano, maybe? No. Did it just close on me? Oh.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway. Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Guess we'll go this way.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Hurry.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Can't even read that. Alright.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
So which way am I supposed to go? Do I press this button? Is that even a button? Oh, I see. So they have numbers on them. I think I have to... Ah, there's one. 1, 2. 3. Over here. Was that supposed to do something?
And when at last he found the source of the... blackness, and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go.
Cool.
No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Seemed pretty simple. So is there anything else I can do?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
What if I go the other way this time? So instead of
When
going
Stanley
to that
came
door,
to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
what if I just went
Perhaps
this
he
way
wanted to stop
instead?
by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Alright, so I
Yes,
can
truly
admire
a
this
room worth admiring. It had really, but
And I
eager
can
to
just
get
run
back
down
to
the
business,
hall.
Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Now there's two doors. That way is to the meeting room. But now I find myself in here.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Alright. So I can just...
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life.
go inside
She's been waiting.
pitch black.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out
So
to
I can
her.
either answer the
If you
phone
can truly
or I
place
can
your
plug it.
faith in another,
Let me answer the phone. Oh?
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go.
What?
All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Yeah, that was really freaky.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Wait. Am I dead?
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Please press 3.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating
Can I
lunch.
leave?
Now
Oh, no.
he's going home. Now he's coming back to work.
It
One might
seems
even
that
feel
just
sorry for him, except that he's
stuck
chosen this
here.
life.
Well, I mean...
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic
So this is what
discoveries of
happens
new
when you
lands.
answer the phone.
It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to
I've
work
always wondered
was a reminder that none of it would
happen if you
ever
answered
happen
the
to
phone.
him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job.
Wait, there's
First,
a
he
TV.
imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the
Yo.
building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Well, if you don't know what happens when you answer the phone.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And
I'm
down
back
another
now,
was a
so
yellow
sorry.
line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a
Yeah.
game with a baby.
I'm back in
And
the
he called
office.
it the Stanley Parable.
Okay.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there
Hello.
possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more
Yeah,
invested he
definitely
gets.
back
The
in the
more he
office.
forgets which life is the real one.
Press 4.
And
to go
I'm
to
trying to
sleep.
tell him this. That in this world he can never be anything
that
but an
even
observer.
matters.
That as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Alright.
You
Press
see?
B.
Can he just not hear me?
And
How can I
here
tell
we
him in
are.
a way that he'll understand that every second he remains
at the
here,
office.
he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I
Press
can't,
two to
not in
question
the way I
nothing,
want him
right?
to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I
Oh. Okay. Interesting. Alright.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So I'm gonna see what all I can explore in
When
this
Stanley
game.
came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Go straight.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Hop on.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Alright, here we
This
go.
is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's
Alright,
been
back
waiting.
to this room. This time,
That's her, Stanley.
I want
Oh,
to
no,
unplug the
no,
phone.
no, no, you can't. Did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack." Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Ah, welcome back.
Oh.
You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Alright. Let's go back out this door then.
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
Great. So I suppose I have to go all the way back. Yep, I don't suppose that door is gonna open. So I guess I gotta go
Almost
all
there.
the way
You'll
back.
take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world. Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Alright, well, I'm not gonna go find out, so I'm just gonna run the game's
Yet there was not a
course.
single person here either. Feeling a
And go
wave of
right back to the
disbelief,
beginning.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office,
go back
hoping he
that
might find
way.
it. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
We'll just go right back up the stairs. Take a right, take a left.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it.
Receiver.
Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115.
What am
Was
I
this the
supposed
code
to
to open
click
the
on?
door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
What do I do?
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark
Do I actually have to say it?
115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
Do I actually have to say Night Shark 115?
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise, we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
So I actually
Okay,
have to
fine.
say
You're not going to do it. But you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I
Well,
asked
the
you
game's
for this
going
one
without.
single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward.
Oh.
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first.
So
I'm
just
quite
take
sure
me
you'll be
back
up to
here.
the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine.
Nice.
All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
So then I'll just go back through the right door then.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Oh no. Wait, what if I do it again? Okay, so I have to go through this door.
Oh, it's ruined.
Okay.
I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that you... my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to.
Okay. Good to know.
Oh, I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You. Who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are.
So it looks like I have
My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny?
Stuff.
You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ceiling. Okay. I can move in the ceiling.
Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me?
Okay.
Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important.
And the
Story
credits
needs
are
you,
roll.
needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do.
Alright.
Take as
Well,
much time as you need.
seems that okay. Oh.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Oh.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set
I
of two
kinda
open
wanna
doors,
see
this was
what's-
not the correct way to the meeting room, and
Alright,
Stanley
so
knew
looks
it
like this
perfectly
way's
well.
back to
Perhaps he wanted to stop
normal.
by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime,
through
a
here.
work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
I would
Stanley
do
was so
that,
bad at following directions, it's incredible he
wanna see
wasn't
what's
5
over
years
here.
ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the
wonder what
wrong
happened
foot
if I
here.
jumped off of
I'm
it
not your
here.
enemy,
Is there
really,
anything
I'm
out
not.
of that?
I
outside
realize that
door?
investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been
Yeah, I
neglecting,
gotta time this
Stanley.
really perfectly.
Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really?
Here we
I
go.
was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Well, what's the difference? If I go through the red door, or if I go through the blue door? Oh no. Alright, I guess we'll go through the red door.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this
Just
time?
to see what's over
The
here.
problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just
walk
stopped.
around in circles.
And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you. What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here,
Well,
right in this moment,
we
with
found
this
this.
place, Stanley, I
Which I'm not
think
gonna
I
lie, is
feel
really cool.
happy. I actually feel happy.
Yeah. I will say, this is really cool. But I want to explore the rest of the
No,
game here.
wait. Where are you going?
So let's go and continue.
Oh, no. Stay away from those stairs.
found
If you
it.
hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
Where Stanley jumps off.
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from
This is
me.
one crazy game.
No! Oh,
So
no.
we just keep doing it.
No, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this?
Must have been a little stuck there.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. My God, is this
Why do I
really
take
how
so
much you
long
dislike
to
my
die
game?
here?
That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours. Is it over?
And there we go.
It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Alright.
Stanley came to a set of two open doors.
So let's
He
go
entered the
back to the
door on
door
his
on our
left.
right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly
I
well.
noticed there was a blue
Perhaps he
door.
wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just
I
to
wonder
admire
if
it.
it does the same thing that red
Standing
door
now
does,
in this
or if it
incredible
takes us
room,
somewhere
Stanley for the
different.
first, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open
That's
door
what I
on his
wanna
left.
find out. Oop.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Alright, let's get back on this thing.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that
See what
investing your
happens if we
trust
go
in
through
someone
the
else can
door
be
this
difficult,
time.
but the fact is that the story has been about nothing
That's
but
actually something
you
I wanna find
all
out.
this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten
Can't we
about.
go through the blue
What?
door?
Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced
There
that I
goes
want
the
something
door.
bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove
Alright,
it.
so we're
Let me
gonna go
prove
to
that I'm
the
on
blue
your
door this
side.
time.
Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
through the blue door.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley
Through
walked
the blue
through
door.
the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly.
Wow.
Stanley walked through the red door.
blue door.
All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
Wow.
You see? There's nothing here.
And
I haven't
this
even
is
finished
where
building
the
this section of the map
takes me.
because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted?
Where
Was
is
it worth
this?
ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange
Well,
and
I mean,
unknowable desires
I did
of
wanna
yours.
see what
What
happened
would
if
have
we
made
went
this
through the
game
blue
better?
door.
What did you
So-
want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me
Skill
take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley.
Okay,
Take it for a
sure.
spin. Okay, I'm going to stop you
Whoa.
there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to
Okay.
be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. Aha!
me select
You
the
see,
file
I
then.
knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Ah. Wait. Whoa. Wow. I don't know, maybe because I want to explore the whole game. So I already went through that door. I think I've seen enough of that door. Alright.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Oh boy.
In this game,
Here we
the baby
go.
crawls left towards danger. You click the
Oh.
button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands
So,
of
wait.
family life. I
I
think the
press the
art
button, the
world
baby
will
stops
really take
moving?
notice. But of course, the message of the
Okay.
game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience. You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game, just to ease the pain? Let's see. What do we have here?
I mean,
Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot. Well, Stanley, is this any better? At last,
What?
the one thing you've always desired. A game I
This
had
was
absolutely
in the
nothing
game.
to do with. But is it enough?
Oh, no.
Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you.
I mean,
From
okay.
now on, I will only create to fulfill
Play
a
it
greater
anyway, since you
artistic
can't
purpose.
jump.
Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here. No,
Oh.
here.
Okay.
And then... Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes.
Wow.
It's
That's a
complete.
very nice house there.
I made this, Stanley.
I mean, look at
Look
it.
at it.
It looks,
Gaze upon my work of
it looks
art
perfection,
and feel
doesn't it?
ashamed at your own
looks like a very
inadequacy.
nice house.
Ah, but you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable.
Wow. This is quite a game. So what? Do I
Isn't
just
it
go
grand?
inside? Ah,
Isn't it perfect?
yes.
It could only be better if...
Perfect.
Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond.
So what you want?
Diamond
Walk
everything.
Back out.
Yes, yes, yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
Oh, okay. So I just drop down here.
Oh my,
Into this
it looks like it's going to get a bit
cave.
dark. Have you brought a light?
Oh wow.
Oh, no. This is far more
Hey, look.
open-ended than I had in
Some iron.
mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear.
It's even the
Something that
old
makes you feel
school.
utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay,
Oh
new
wow.
game.
It's taking you really deep. Damn. Oh.
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but
Wait.
I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out,
Oh,
listening to
no.
me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out.
I
Okay,
can move
now
the
I'm
cup.
curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
Wait. Oh. Wait. Can I drop it in the toilet? Please tell me I can drop it in the toilet. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I can drop that in the toilet. Oh. I can pick this up too. What does that even say? Portal test. Wait, so I'm in the game portal? Oh, shit. I can just drop these things. Oh my. Oh. No. Go back in the toilet. Oh, you bastard. Oh. Come on. Go back in the toilet. Oh. Yes. Yes. That's it. Good. I can just start throwing things in the toilet. Let's go. This is what I'm talking about. Okay. Meow. Alright.
It's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley.
Okay, so
Your forte.
I must need this box on that button
Genius.
so that way I can get out of here.
No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these.
Screw you. Whoa. Where am I now? Oh. 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 Okay. Where am I? Oh. So which way do I go? So it didn't even matter which way I went. I mean, at least there's a light. All the way back to the office. Am I supposed to be here? Am I not supposed to be here? Oh.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Alright,
The
just
meeting room.
for...
Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be
Just to see
alone
if-
ever again.
get the game to end. I'll just go and
When Stanley came to a set of
finish
two
off
open
the way it's
doors,
supposed
he
to,
entered the
that way
door
I
on his
can
left.
end this here.
Yet there was
Looks
not
like
a single
everything's
person
normal
here
again.
either. Feeling a wave of disbelief,
Wow.
Stanley
Pulled me
decided to go
around
up
the
to his
wall.
boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
So
Coming to a
just go ahead
staircase,
and run
Stanley walked
upstairs.
upstairs to his boss's office.
Back to the regular old boss's office.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned
The
to
same
discover
old
not an
code.
indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
That's better.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that
Back
read
down here
Mind
as
Control
usual.
Facility. Lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all. And when at last he found the source, blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes, he had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Just wanted to do it one last time. Just wanted to quickly run through it one last time to be sure that I had the whole game situated. make sure it was actually the end of the game. After exploring most of it. Well, that's the Stanley Parable. Well, that's the Stanley Parable. Yeah. I think that'll be it for me today. Please like and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. See you next time.